Mornings in these African villages are made up of sunlight, footsteps, and the scent of cooking fires. No one needs to ask where homes end, where daily life begins, or where ritual takes place. Everything unfolds within the same shared space. This is not a preserved past, but a way of living that continues, day after day. To truly understand African villages, we need to see them as worlds shaped by indigenous culture and tribal relationships. Here, a village is not just a place where people live, but a space where identity is formed, sustained, and passed down across generations. Life is not separated from tradition, but guided by values that have existed for a very long time. The foundation of African village life lies in tribal community. Each village is usually connected to a tribe or extended clan, where people share a common history, common ancestors, and shared social rules. Individuals do not exist in isolation, but are always understood through their relationships with family, lineage, and village. From birth, people are surrounded by community, learning how to live through observation, participation, and listening. In many African village communities, elders hold an essential role within the social structure. They are not only older in age, but carriers of the village's memory, memories of origin, ancestral stories, codes of behavior, and ways of living together. Knowledge is passed down not mainly through books, but through storytelling, slow conversations under trees, or by the fire. The constant presence of elders in daily life allows tribal values to be preserved and adapted across generations. Indigenous language is a powerful thread connecting people to culture. In African villages, language is not only a tool for communication, but a way of storing how a community understands the world. From naming family relationships to describing nature, seasons, and time, language reflects a worldview deeply tied to the environment. Stories, proverbs, and songs passed down orally allow collective memory to survive without written records. The physical layout of the village is a direct reflection of indigenous culture. Homes are built from locally available materials such as earth, mud, straw, wood, or stone, adapted to climate and natural conditions. Architecture does not aim for separation, but encourages connection. Shared courtyards, open pathways, and communal spaces allow people to see, hear, and feel one another's presence. A house therefore belongs not only to a family, but to the village as a whole. Food also carries strong tribal identity. Ingredients mostly come from local farming and herding, shaped by seasons and natural conditions. Cooking is often communal, involving multiple generations. Recipes are not written down, but passed on through practice and memory. Meals are not just about nourishment, but moments to share stories, strengthen relationships, and maintain social bonds within the village.
Almost dead.
Spiritual life is inseparable from everyday activities. Rituals are tied to planting seasons, harvests, birth, coming of age, and key moments in a person's life. Music, drumming, and dance are not limited to special occasions, but flow naturally into daily life as a shared emotional language. Through ritual, communities affirm the bond between people, ancestors, and the land they inhabit.
Semeni amen. Haya.
Time in African villages is experienced differently. Days follow the movement of sunlight, work shifts with the seasons, and life rhythms are shaped by experience rather than fixed schedules. This slower pace does not mean a lack of organization, but reflects a way of living that prioritizes balance and stability. Tribal culture, therefore, is not static, but flexible, adapting to the natural rhythms of the environment.
Guys, this spaghetti.
All of these elements, community, language, architecture, food, and spiritual life, come together to form a complete cultural ecosystem. African villages are not images of the past, but living spaces where indigenous culture is still practiced, adjusted, and passed on every day. From this deep foundation, village life moves into its next phase, as external changes begin to reach in and raise new questions about preservation and continuity. If you're interested in communities that live through culture, hit the like button.
Wanted to buy the last time. Oh, look at fresh red horse. Here.
Changes in African villages do not arrive as a sudden wave, but unfold step by step, in very concrete ways. A new road makes travel easier. A school is built closer to the village. Electricity and mobile signal become more stable. Each change brings clear benefits, yet at the same time, it subtly shifts how people live together.
What is this one? Ocean.
Jambo.
Jambo.
Good morning, Jamali.
Education is one of the most visible examples. Children attend school more regularly, gain access to broader knowledge, and learn more widely spoken languages. This opens new opportunities, but it also reduces the time they spend in community activities, learning traditional skills, or listening to stories in their indigenous language. When the language of school differs from the language of the village, a quiet gap between generations begins to form. Change is also clearly felt in the lives of young people. Small Smartphones and social media bring the outside world directly into their hands. Young people can learn, connect, and express themselves in ways never possible before. At the same time once spent on collective activities, rituals, or shared village work becomes increasingly fragmented. Culture does not disappear, but its presence in everyday life begins to compete with many new influences. Clothing and lifestyles gradually shift as modern conveniences become part of daily life. Practices once embedded in everyday routines, from dress and division of labor to communal rhythms, begin to lose their central role. Traditional clothing does not vanish, but is pushed out of daily use and appears mainly on occasions labeled as cultural. As new conveniences make life faster and easier, cultural practices that require time, presence, and patience are slowly left behind. This replacement does not happen through a conscious rejection, but as a natural result of living more comfortably. And it is here that the erosion of identity begins, not because people refuse tradition, but because they no longer live under conditions that make tradition necessary. Faced with these changes, African villages do not respond by fully rejecting or fully embracing them. How far do we change, and what do we choose to keep so we can still recognize ourselves? Share your thoughts in the comments. In recent decades, preserving indigenous culture has no longer been solely the responsibility of village communities. Many African countries have begun introducing specific policies to recognize and protect tribal heritage, from language and rituals to the cultural rights of local communities. One common approach focuses on the preservation of indigenous languages. In some countries, tribal languages are included in basic education programs or officially recognized for use within local communities. This allows children to engage with their mother tongues in a more formal setting, rather than learning them only at home. Yet in practice, language truly survives only when it is used in everyday life, not when it exists solely in classrooms or administrative documents. Other policies concentrate on safeguarding intangible cultural heritage, often with support from international organizations such as UNESCO. Many African rituals, storytelling traditions, music, and crafts have received international recognition and protection. This acknowledgement helps indigenous cultures gain greater visibility and respect, while also providing resources for communities to sustain traditional practices. However, this is also where a new challenge emerges. When culture is placed within a heritage framework, it risks becoming standardized and performative. Rituals once embedded in community life may begin to follow fixed schedules, shaped for events or tourism. Traditional clothing may be worn mainly during festivals rather than in everyday life. Culture is protected, but sometimes detached from the natural rhythms that gave rise to it.
This is how Kampala is.
Alongside policy, media, and social platforms are creating an unprecedented impact. Smartphones and video platforms allow villages once rarely seen to tell their own stories. Young people record their languages, meals, rituals, and daily lives from their own perspectives. This marks an important shift. Culture is no longer told only by outsiders.
Yeah. When I cycle for 2 hours, that is roughly, let me see, it's roughly about 20 kilometers.
Yet media also brings new pressures. When content needs to be short, fast, and eye-catching, culture can be reduced to surface-level images, colorful clothing, unusual rituals, visible differences, stripped of context and depth. Some communities begin adjusting how they present their culture to fit the audience, unintentionally blurring its original meaning. It is within this landscape that African villages reveal a striking balance. Tribal and indigenous cultures remain strongest where they are lived before they are filmed, worn before they are photographed, spoken before they are recorded. Language survives because it is used at home. Clothing holds meaning because it belongs to daily life, not just imagery. Food retains its spirit because meals remain shared community spaces. After encountering many tribes and different ways of preserving identity, the African village does not offer a single formula. Instead, it points to a simple yet lasting principle. Policy and media can support culture, but they cannot replace lived experience. Culture is truly preserved only when communities retain the right to decide how they live, how they speak, how they dress, and how they tell their own stories, whether within the village or on the screen. African villages do not preserve their identity by standing still, but by continuing to live together through change, where core values such as community, memory, and human connection are carefully held on to. If this story made you pause and reflect, share your thoughts, and follow the channel so we can continue exploring stories of people and culture in a world that never stops moving.